Hey everyone, this is Fi. Today I'm checking out Supersolar. It's part of the Reddit Feedback Friday. It's apparently some kind of a sci-fi dungeon crawler. I checked out the Steam page here. It says Supersolar aims to mix dungeon crawling combat and mechanics with exploration and quests inspired by classic isometric games, all packed together in a sci-fi setting with realistic graphics. Alright, so this was posted on the Reddit Feedback Friday. The Reddit post says it made a build with the core features of the game, looking for feedback to polish it up in prep for the full demo. So, sounds like a good thing for playtesting, which is what we're going to do. See if we can give some useful feedback for this. Let's go ahead and get rid of that overlay. I'm going to jump right into this. So I've not seen this before. I haven't seen anything past the screen here. It's got some interesting looking graphics. Let's go ahead and check out the settings. So it looks like a bunch of little robot type things around what I'm gonna guess is our ship here. We got graphic settings, everything's on ultra. So far it looks smooth. Post effects. So it doesn't mention VSync. I'm gonna guess there's probably VSync. Which would be nice to have that being specifically settable in the menu here. Oh, okay. So low renders it at very low resolution. So yeah, this might run well, but you know, VSync, it's one of those things that tends to impart input lag, so sometimes it's nice to turn that off, depending on the game. Oh, okay, there's another menu here, so VSync is off. We got window full screen. Let's go ahead and do proper full screen, because that usually runs better for me. Let's make sure that's still in the capture here. Alright. Alright, so check out key mapping real quick. Looks like this might not be implemented. So let's go ahead and click on new game. New game, alright. Looks like we're controlling with the mouse, W to move the ship forward. Oh, that's very strange. Okay, so W is not up, it's towards wherever you're pointing the mouse. So that is not something I'm used to. I'm also curious if there's gamepad support. Alright, so it looks like you steer with the right stick. Well, maybe not. Wait, what the heck? Alright, so I guess it's sort of, I don't know if this has been fully implemented. It looks like it's kind of mirroring the mouse and keyboard controls, so the right stick is kind of pointing, it's kind of replacing the cursor, except it's not actually moving the cursor. So maybe that just hasn't been accounted for yet with the... It's kind of like you point in the direction you want to move with the right stick, and then you point forward with the left stick to go in that direction, so it's very awkward, or unusual for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the keyboard and mouse for now, because it seems like that's kind of what's intended. So it kind of looks like, I like the animation of the ship where it kind of bends and makes you feel like a fish or something. It's kind of cool. So it looks like there's a little bit of a gap in here. It's kind of hard to see. Like, it's not very clear where like walls and floor is, so I guess this wall kind of goes like this, but you really kind of have to look at it to see that, so I think that could be made more obvious. Scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Okay, got some nice visuals here. So yeah, very unorthodox control scheme so far. Help text added. The bay doors are locked. Click on the console to override them. What is the console? This? Interesting. It'd be nice if I could close that again, I think, but... You can interact with other objects in the level as well, gather info, open doors, or override systems. Just check something real quick. Right. So a little eye, these are automated drones for heavy cargo transport. Okay, so these are drones, even though they're kind of just hanging out there. I kind of feel like... Alright, it's just going to say that. Voyager 1 is a space probe launched by NASA on September 5th, 1977. After hundreds of years in space, the probe's current location is at the edge of the Oort cloud. So I don't know what this is doing here. I guess this is it's placed here for kind of demo purposes, like not really, you know, just demonstrating the functionality. So one thing I noticed is that you have to like click on this to make it go away. I don't know why these guys are floating away. I guess the clickable area isn't tied to the objects. Maybe it's just an actual area placed in the level, so that's why these are over there. Like for instance, maybe, actually I don't know what made these float over there, but yeah, I don't like how you have to click on it again to make it go away. Like I'd rather click somewhere else or something. I guess if you move away, it disappears. Alright, so this is unlocked, so I guess we just have to move into it. Press A or D to strafe the shift left or right. Alright, so it kind of unlocked this. This wasn't available before. Just kind of like, I don't really feel like you necessarily needed to lock away that functionality before now. Unless maybe that's intended to be part of the game before. Like, if in the final game you're going to start without that function, you have to like unlock it or something, I don't know. Strafing allows you to move in circles, hold W and A and keep the cursor on the target, right? So with this control scheme, you should be able to do that, but you do have to keep moving the mouse. I'm also not really making a tight circle, so I don't really know. I guess this kind of what do you call it? Like a holographic effect is sort of floating above the ground somewhat. I can't really tell. It's kind of weird. Oh gosh, it's pretty awkward. Why is it turning green now? So I feel like I'm like drifting outwards or something for some reason. Just kind of weird. I guess I'm probably not holding it exactly in place here. So I almost wonder, like, this sort of thing, it feels like maybe this would work well with like a lock-on system. No weapon. So it looks like left and right mouse button are for weapons. I almost wonder if you could like lock onto a target and then strafe around it, because the idea of having to constantly point exactly in a spot to rotate around it correctly seems a little awkward, but I'm not, you know, I haven't played it enough to really figure out if that's really a problem or not yet. It just seems strange. Roll the ship with A or D in space, use it to evade fire or barrel roll your way past this laser beams. It should probably be these. It's just a grammatical thing. Wait a minute. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. For some reason the strafing just stops working when I get into this area. Alright, so that it kept, for some reason right around here, when I hold left or right, it goes for a second and then it stops. And the little arrow is also purple, so I don't know what this is doing. I don't understand. I don't understand. Alright, so the barrel roll does not make you invincible. Apparently it just is purely movement. So the first time I used it, I moved fast, but then the second time it seemed kind of slow. Now it stopped moving again, okay. So if you spam it, it doesn't work. You have to like keep moving. You have to like use it and then wait a second for you to completely reset. Because if you do it and then like hit it again too fast, it doesn't do anything. Even though it plays like the audio and stuff. So I think that could be tightened up in some way, like at least make it so that it doesn't play the audio if it's not going to actually do the roll. find some way to make it clear, like you have to wait a second, because it's pretty frustrating if you press the button and like it doesn't happen. So that could be like a life and death situation. It's getting back faster than I expected. Oh, those don't give you a lot of time, do they? Jeez, and heck. Okay. Another thing is that with this isometric view, I can see further looking upwards, and I can see further on the left and the right because the screen is 69. But looking down in the south direction, I can't see very far in front of me at all. So something you have to kind of contend with this kind of design is that you can't see in this direction really. I do have the scroll, so I didn't consider that, but even so, there's a difference that you have to kind of deal with. I do kind of get the feeling like I might want to rotate the camera here, but I'm guessing that the developer kind of doesn't intend for that to be popular. Hold space and W for forward speed boost, okay? Okay, did I feel like I have to try that again. Okay, I guess I don't get to do that again. Now, oops, so my inertia just kind of pulled me into that. There's quite a bit of inertia. I'm trying to figure something out here. Right, okay, so the problem is that at first when I do that move, like you can see I'm right here in the middle of the screen, but then the ship moved like to this area in the screen, and so the effect of that is that even though I didn't move my mouse, my forward direction changed because my ship moved relative to the cursor. So like I started dashing downwards, and then I kind of like careened off and like almost turned around for a second because of that. So that's kind of a problem that you have with these sort of controls, where that kind of thing can happen, where you don't move your mouse, but your direction kind of changes on you, and it can be really frustrating in some situations. So you might want to, maybe even just for the dash, just make it so that it doesn't like leave the center of the screen, even though that kind of provides a nice visual effect, but it's, it creates problems with trying to control your direction with the cursor here. The cursor isn't in the game world itself, it's in the screen space, so that's kind of the source of these kind of problems. This is the Signy minigun, a light weapon fitted in the ship's secondary hardpoint. The Supersolar MK1 has a total of 5 hardpoints where you can equip weapons. Okay, sounds like a lot. Okay, so there's a bunch of debug text. It looked like it kind of, I don't know if you're supposed to just stand on it for a second. It was just kind of strange that it didn't seem to pick up instantly. Okay, so it didn't tell me to use the mouse button here, but of course I can guess that I'm gonna click the button to shoot with here. Overheat. Alright, where's your heat? So I'm not seeing any like UI displaying the heat. I do see there's like little bar type things around the ship. And in fact it looks like, okay, yeah, if I zoom in all the way I can kind of see there's a little bar that at least turns reddish. Goes from yellow to red. Alright, yeah, I'm just going like to green. Oh, to blue even. Alright, so okay, so knowing that, I can kind of figure out that that's a thing. It's just not, it's obviously not super visible from this far, but you can kind of tell looking at the color a little bit. I kind of like having, bars that are a little more obvious where kind of the start and end point is, so you can see like exactly when it's fully cooled and when it's getting close to not and that sort of thing. But the Turco amp laser uses standard hard mounts. Oh, it's floating towards me. I didn't get to read that, unfortunately, because It kind of floated into me and got picked up before I could read it. Weapons in the medium hard points are fired with right click and some have a cooldown before firing. Hold the mouse button to fire. Oh, it's a laser. So I guess this is cooldown in the literal sense. Oh, it says have a cooldown before firing. So this might be a sort of mistake in the English description, because cooldown usually indicates waiting after you fire something, not before. So I say like has a startup before firing or something like that, but clearly overheats rapidly. I guess we can click on this to unlock it. So it's a little weird that you both shoot and like interact with objects with the click button, because it kind of feels strange if I'm gonna interact with an object and I like shoot at the same time. It just kind of doesn't feel right. So I don't know if you could. I mean, you could make it so that if you click on one of these, it doesn't shoot, but then there's also like the potential for like if you're like in the middle of a battle and you're trying to shoot at someone and you accidentally like hover over one of these things and you can't shoot there, that wouldn't be good either. So I don't know why there's a red wall here. Actually don't know what that did either. I guess it opened this door over here. Press F for the ship's headlight and use it to navigate dark areas. That's cool. Unfortunately, I can't really see behind this wall though, so hopefully we don't run into too many situations where that causes problems. I don't know what this is. Picking up a second Signy minigun. I guess that's what that is. Adds it to the second front turret. The ship has a total of 5 weapon hardpoints. So I want to know. Alright, it's just automatically firing. It'd be nice if there was. Alright, the text is unfortunately rendering over itself here. Alright, these drones are disabled when destroyed. Some drop something. I guess they drop something. Repair stuff. Didn't get to read that. And there's a little thing right here. I don't know if that's from the text box or something. Looks like it says saved game in the top left there. I'm gonna try pressing the escape key. There's a pause menu. Looks like pretty standard. It'd be nice if I could see what is equipped on my ship kind of in a little more detail here. Like it mentions the 5 hard points, so I'd kind of like to see that visually displayed in somewhere. The following sections simulate real combat against drones in overrun areas. Survive the arena. So these look like little bunnies or something. Oh gosh, okay. So the problem okay, a couple of problems. I mean, the big thing there was that it's so hard for me to wrap my brain around the controls at this point. Like I want WASD to move kind of in the cardinal directions in the game world here, or I guess based on screen space or whatever you want to call it, rather than like W being forward towards your cursor. That's really hard for me to wrap my head around. I guess I also don't know why does it stop going? Is it because it's close to the wall? Is that the problem? Why is it purple? Why does it turn purple? See, like over here it's not doing that. Why does it just stop? I don't understand why it stops strafing sometimes. I can't figure that out. But yeah, the other thing that I encountered up here is that the enemies can surround you and then you can't actually move through them, so you just kind of stay stuck there. What are the buttons again here? Oh, the space bar is to. I feel like that should be on shift key. Yeah, if I could change the controls, I would change that to shift, because that just seems like maybe it's just from other games that I've played. Pressing the shift key would work as a. I think that's a power up. Oh, wait a minute. Is it gonna cool down? That was weird. It still says overheat though. Maybe that's just a bug. So my secondary laser thing isn't working. I don't know. I think I might have bugged out or something. It might be something to do with the fact that it still says overheat. It just stopped working. So I kind of wanted to use that and it just wasn't working. It kind of threw me off quite a bit. Alright, I gotta try and get my head wrapped around the controls here. You'll be able to find different weapons, mix and match them in the ship's hard points. Now it's working. But what did I just pick up? It says mix and match them, so that kind of suggests that you can equip different things in some manner. No, I want to go the other way. Right, and that was pretty effective. It's still stuck on overheat. I don't know why it doesn't stop blinking overheat. Oh. Oh no. So with so many enemies, I don't really I mean, I'm kind of just holding the button down to keep shooting at them, but like I have to deal with this heat issue, so it's sort of like I'm just holding it down until I run out of heat, and then I'm waiting, and then holding it down again, and it kind of seems to me like there's not really much purpose to the overheat thing if it's just if there's already this many enemies, I'm just automatically going to overheat anyway, so it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be conservative about this, because I have to shoot so many enemies with it. Oh gosh. I'm really bad at these controls. Okay. So it's obviously really forgiving with the damage right now, but thinking one of the other things, the big arc thing on the butt maybe is the health or something. But see, these things in front of the ship, I like the concept of the UI like that, but it seems buggy or something, I think. I guess that's the end of the stage, or maybe the demo? I don't know. Exit level, it says. Alright, I think that was the whole game, so not the whole game, obviously, this build. So yeah, so far graphics are very pretty. I find the controls terribly awkward. I would really like to have a more traditional, you know, move in the direction you press kind of control scheme that is typical for sort of omnidirectional shooter type games. I just think it would be just more intuitive in every way, and I would do a lot better with that. I don't really see much benefit to this kind of control scheme. I mean, if nothing else, it's, you know, it has some element of novelty, but I don't think that the benefit of that overweighs, you know, being able to feel like you can control it intuitively, which I think would be a lot more important. So yeah, apart from that, there's some weird stuff, like I don't know why the strafing sometimes just stops working randomly. In some places, I don't know what the heck is going on with that. And there seems like a few other bugs and stuff. And the overheating is pretty annoying. I don't see much of a purpose to that in the game as it is right now. Typically, if you're gonna have overheat, you know, it's just saying that you have to kind of be conservative with your weapons, so you can't just like spam fire constantly. But as I mentioned before, oh, this is the area where my thrusters don't work correctly. As I mentioned before, if you're just gonna have that many enemies, and you just don't really have any reason not to just hold down the fire button, and you're just gonna constantly overheat until they're all gone. So it just kind of seems like there's no point to having overheating. So maybe if there was a lot less enemies, it would make more sense. Though I might consider just not having that element. It might be worth considering, because it's kind of frustrating. There's this issue that I mentioned here. It shouldn't happen this time. What is this thing? I don't even know what that was. So yeah, I mean, the game feels cool, it looks cool, and oh, there's more things. So I like the concept of it. I definitely like the idea of being able to interact with more things in the environment rather than only shooting things. That's definitely cool, and there's a lot you could do with that. So I hope that that sort of element is explored well in the game. I wonder why these are here. I guess that's why. Oh, the R key restarts. Okay. So that's a thing. But yeah, hopefully this was a useful video for you. I kind of want to play it more. There's not really any more to play. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is just the controls. It's just really hard for me to wrap my head around that, and I find that pretty frustrating. I mean, it's already a little problematic doing like mouse and keyboard controls for an Omni shmup, because you have to deal with the fact that you have two different things you have to keep track of at the same time. You have to deal with your mouse location and your own location, your movement, and like avoiding attacks and stuff. But this sort of thing, it kind of like almost multiplies the two, because your movement is strictly dependent on your mouse location, so it's really hard to deal with both simultaneously, in my opinion. That being said, I might as well wrap this up. Hopefully this video was useful. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.